Let's start with the contribution demo. Who would like to show the pull requests? Alex, I see that your pull request for refactoring was merged 5 days ago, but you have probably demoed it. Would you like to show it, or it was already displayed before?
I think that it was already displayed before. It was introduced like just a solution where you use our approach for every method. We use a separate class, test class. Yes, and it was introduced, and it's good that it's merged to our project. So I think we can give the demonstration of this pull request.
Okay. Good. Shankar, would you like to show the bug fix that was merged? The pull request for the similar for CMOR filter. Okay, let's move forward. For now, Gabriel, would you like to show us the bug? Yeah.
Of course. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, cool. I think I was muted before when you said hello to me.
Hello then.
Hello. So yeah, sure, I can do it first. Yeah. Let me see if I can just share my screen. I might have to add a Chrome extension. Should be pretty quick. Sec now. Okay, there you go. Let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So first time here. So I haven't worked on this project before. I just met Sergey at the contribution day here in Dublin, and there was this simple bug which was a good first issue on the project, and I decided to pick this up. So the problem essentially was that when you use the CMOR filter from series and model, you ended up adding a filter, but then the button was still available there, and then when you click at the button again, it didn't do anything. So the desired behavior here was to actually scroll the customer to the top of the page to kind of show the customer that the filter was already applied, so he was trying to apply the same filter again. So from the code perspective, it was pretty simple. We just on this component here, on the related component where the CMOR button behavior is defined here, I've created two functions to check if the series filter is applied and if the module filter is applied. Sending the parameter, the record, which is the behavior to be changed there. We basically just check if the ID is the same to the one that is already applied on the filter chips. If so, returns true and then calls the function to scroll to filter, which is the component at the top, and then just returns. It doesn't apply the rest of the function then. So it's an early return. Maybe just to demo here, remove filter here. So pick an image. You click here on see more. And then the filter gets applied. So if you take the same image again and click at the button, just scrolls you up. And the same behavior here if you go for the model. So we're here and click at the same button again. Oops, I click on the series. Sorry. So on the model, and then model again. Just scrolls you up. So yeah, pretty simple bug and pretty simple fix as well. I guess that's it. Have any
Okay,
questions?
nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, good. So let me share my screen. I just will go through some more pull requests. Shankar, just in case he wasn't there, would you like to show this pull request?
Yeah, I can show this demo for this pull request. I guess it was merged around 5 days ago. Okay, so I
Yeah.
can demo this pull request.
Okay,
Yeah,
then
okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I will share my screen now. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, great. So basically this pull request is regarding just a moment, I haven't prepared for this pull request. I thought that I missed this pull request in my previous demo. Let me open this pull request first. Okay, yeah, here it is. Basically this pull request is regarding some it's pretty simple issue. It's regarding just only the CSS. The problem with this with the current scenario is that the three dot with the see more button is overlapping with the related image or model images. So they're pretty simple and just fixed by just simple CSS. We have added a media query, so it should apply only on the devices like smaller devices like Kindle or tablet. So it's a basically simple issue which we have fixed this. So I can quickly provide you a demo. So if we check for the Kindle and it's for the portrait. So as you can see, it's the see more button is see more link is not overlapping with the related images or series models. So that's it from my side. I'm working on other PRs and hopefully I will finish that soon. And I also have a requested feature I would like to discuss. So should I discuss right now or wait for the pull request demo?
Yeah, let's discuss the feature request a bit later.
Okay, sure.
If it's okay.
Thanks. Yeah, it's okay. Thanks.
Thanks. So I guess this pull request was have introduced the first media query that we needed for the project. Basically, the sizes of the images displayed in related block are now different on desktop and on tablet because of the media query. Thanks, Shankar. Yeah, I would like first go through the pull requests, just to mention them. So there was a fix for the permissions. Like right now, if admin user doesn't have permissions to license an image, in current implementation, we still show the license button, but we are warning user, like showing the user message that he cannot license the image. And yeah, if he doesn't have permissions to do that. So we are covering the scenario of user with safe preview permissions, but without licensing permissions in that way. Then there was a fix, the correct fix for the bookmarks. Like by default, from the beginning, the bookmarks were opening to the right side for us. And usually Magento grids have, let me just open any grid, like content blocks. They have a columns button next to bookmarks button, so bookmarks are opening to the right. And in our case, yeah, it was fixed, and let me reopen that one. And now bookmarks are opening to the left because we don't have the columns to select for our image grid. That's Nazar. Sergey, he's also not on the call right now, but he added the pagination to media gallery grid, actually. So the new grid that we are developing have pagination right now and limited number of images displayed. Yeah, then refactoring pull request by Alex. That's just adjusted the code quality to the proper level. Thanks for that. That was merged also 5 days ago, but I believe Alex showed it on the previous meeting when it was still open.
Yep. Yeah, right.
And yeah, there was another fix. So we have working on Adobe Stock Integration this Saturday on Dublin Contribution Day, together with Gabriel, who just showed his fix, his pull request, and there was also Giancarlo. He fixed the color picker input resetting, like when switching between bookmarks, the color filter was not resetting, and he fixed it in the Magento 2 repository. So the fix is quite simple. If there is no value, just had to set the empty value so that there will be some value for the input and its empty value actually. And that fixed the problem. It's also covered by Jasmine tests. By the way, all the changes in JS files for Magento, it is very good to cover them with Jasmine tests if they are not covered with MFTF tests. In our project, we don't have Jasmine tests just yet, but I think we will need to create tests for existing components and start adding some coverage later. There was a question from Shankar on where to store the Jasmine tests, and we have to store them in dev tests, like the same structure as they stored in Magento directory for now. There is no modular approach at the moment on how to store JS tests in the modules. So yeah. Any questions on those pull requests? Good. Then I'm moving forward to the new approach that was applied to the new media gallery grid. So as you remember, in previous meetings, we discussed the performance problem, and we also had difficulties adding filters in extensible way to the grid. So after the some investigation, we decided to change the approach, and instead of loading images from a file system, decided to create an index for that. And there is a prototype. I call it prototype, but actually that's a working index that was added really quickly by me to unblock the filters and tasks and other improvements to the grid. And that's the CLI command called media gallery index. So what it does, it basically calls the image indexer that is utilizing files indexer and basically recursively reads all the files from the media gallery and calls the indexer executable for each file path. The information on which indexers to run and the paths to scan and the pattern to filter files is provided from the images indexer. All those files are in the module namespace of my media gallery module. So files indexer is like a utility that can be reused. It's not tied to media gallery. And it doesn't have any state, by the way. So just a utilitary file. And then images indexer contains some configuration. Indexers are provided by DI. And there is just one indexer that is currently specified for, that is the command tag, and here is the indexer defined, and that is asset indexer. So asset indexer, as I said, is executed for each file. That is SPL file info provided by recursive directory iterator. And that indexer is creating assets for each file, defining data. That's media assets, not Adobe Stock assets, and then saving that asset. So after running an indexer, we'll have the media gallery asset table populated with all the data of all the files in media gallery. And then we'll be able to work with them. The idea is to populate index first time after the installation of first time after media gallery UI was introduced to Magento. And then we'll need to handle the save operations, update operations to update to update the index. But that's not actually the index, that's the table with the data for media gallery. Any questions on this point? Or comments? Yeah.
Is it? I can see it also includes a path to the catalog. Is it not just going to be what you see, what you get, or is it going to be everything inside media?
So currently we are indexing all the folders, like there is even thumbnails, but yeah, we definitely will filter out some folders like thumbs. I'm not sure which folders exactly we are going to filter out. I'm not sure if catalog will be removed from that index, because catalog actually may contain some images you might want to use in content as well. But yeah, I'll definitely add a task to remove the directories as soon as I will confirm. And we'll review all the possible directories that we might have in the media directory that we are not interested in our media gallery interface.
Okay, thank you.
But maybe we can just create a configuration. Sorry, to interrupt you. Maybe we can create a configuration for folders, like we did it before. For example, we can send the list of folders, default folders, through the DI file to the indexer, and it will operate it. With this, we will get approach when we can easily configure the indexer. What do you think about this?
Yes, sure. Yeah, we can add it to the indexer. That's not a problem. We just need to know which folders should we serve. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Suggestion. Thank you.
If we create configuration for this indexer and let the user decide what to include and what to exclude. Don't you think that could probably generate some issues in the future?
Well, I don't think that will be a configuration for user. I see it as a DI configuration. Right, Alex?
Yeah, only
I
DI.
understood DI configuration.
Yeah,
So that's for developers.
only DI.
And
Okay.
developers are wise, right? So everything will be okay.
May I ask one question? Can you please show me the namespace of your indexer?
It's model namespace.
I also model namespace. Yes. No. Just it's just in scope of media gallery, right?
Yeah, media gallery UI.
And it is media gallery UI, because I think that this indexer is just another domain from the media gallery. I mean, just this media indexer can be used separately, especially if you mentioned that this indexer doesn't have any tight relation with the media
files
gallery.
indexer,
Maybe we can think about files index here. Maybe we can think about moving it to another domain inside the media gallery, for example, a media gallery indexer, because I don't think that currently, I don't think that this indexer is a part of a UI.
Yeah, I agree with you. The thing is that right now we are developing in the media gallery UI in Adobe Stock Integration repository, but I think that some of the things developed in this module will have to go to a media gallery module that is in Magento 2. So we'll transfer them later. But the thing is that development in Adobe Stock Integration repository is much handier and faster than in Magento 2 repository, right?
Yeah, definitely agree with you.
So it's better to like modulate everything that we need and to develop them as part of Adobe Stock Integration repository. And then if we'll see that we have the generic components or components, classes, and maybe even structures that will suit better for Media Gallery module or even for other Magento modules, Magento framework maybe, we can think about this and move them to Magento 2 repository, as we did with Media Gallery module.
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, thank you for explanation. And I have 2 points which I want to mention today. The first one is that maybe we should think about creating some QE for this indexer, or just a service where we can see the status of our indexer, because it will be very helpful for a user to see that the reindex is in progress, for example, in the media gallery tab. Yeah, what do you think about this?
Yeah, definitely. As I said, that's kind of a prototype. It doesn't have any UI interface at the moment. We'll have to add it. And I know that you are very interested in that area of indexer implementation, Alex. So in this case, I created I added very basic implementation just for us to be able to develop the grid based on the database to unblock the tasks, and the indexer can definitely be improved. Yeah, if you have ideas on how DI configuration will look like for folders, what additional improvements from code perspective you would expect, please create tickets, add the description there. I will create tickets for the UI, definitely. So we'll need to have the button to run this index in the configuration, or maybe as part of other indexers as well. I guess let's organize another meeting to talk about it.
Yeah.
If anybody is interested, we'll drop this meeting to Adobe Stock channel in our Slack. So if you'd like to join the discussion, anybody would like to join the discussion, please join us. And yeah, let's discuss this indexer as a separate thing, because it's a complex topic, I believe.
Yeah, but at least it's really cool implementation. I recheck it from the start to the end and go back, and I think it's really good proof of concept and really nice approach. So really great job. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for inspiration, by the way.
Thank you.
And any other questions? Comments? Okay, let's move forward. So that's not the only indexer I actually added. There is one more indexer that is on top of this indexer. So we were talking about the indexer that is scanning file system and adding the records to media gallery asset table. And media gallery asset is a logical table that is containing all the properties of media gallery asset entity. But as we have the grid that has the filter directory, for example, that will have more other filters that are not exactly the properties of the media gallery asset, and that can become complex values, calculated values, like let's call it this way. So it's much easier for us to work with the data structure that is ready for rendering on the front end, and it would be much easier for us to apply filters on the data structure that is ready. So I have introduced, there is an open pull request for this, by the way, the last one, loading images from database for media gallery grid. You can take a look on it. The last pull request in the queue, just updated it before the meeting. So I added another table that is media gallery asset grid, and this table is basically kind of view table that represents the view information for the grid, for all the fields we need to have on the grid and all the filters that we need to have on the grid. If you have worked with sales module, you might be familiar with that approach, because like sales order, sales invoice, all other tables of sales module are using the same approach of having grid tables and transforming on the data and putting them in the grid table in the state that is ready to be consumed by the grid. So, for example, if we can compare, I'm not sure if you see everything clear. That might be a very low font, but there is the path column of media gallery asset, and probably we can get the URL from path column, but in the media gallery asset grid, we need the URL and preview URL. So we have columns for URL and preview URL, and also we need a directory for filtering. So there is a separate directory column. And yeah, for each filter, we are supposed to add columns here. And also there is, so the data provider simplified very much. It just, as we can see, I would get rid of this method and use the abstract data provider unless we had our new introduced error messages that are not handled by the basic UI data provider. So in this case, I had to keep the try catch just to display the error message that is supported only by our images masonry grid. And there is a resource module for asset. Pay attention that namespace is resource module grid. So the resource module for asset, that's grid resource module, not just media gallery asset resource module, and collection. And I guess collection is not required, to be honest. I probably will remove it. We'll need to check. That PR is still in progress, as you might see. Let me even be on it, as I just prepared it. But yeah, I'm going to merge it soon, probably today or tomorrow. And so if you have any comments or suggestions, please add them to that pull request in comments. And Magento has the infrastructure for such index grid out of the box. So that basically two configurations. We are creating the data provider's search result virtual type with the resource module and main table, and passing it to the collection factory. Data provider collection factory. With the name that matches to the name of the data provider in the listing configuration. And in this case, it works out of the box, and all the filters that are like each filter will actually perform will filter the field by the field in the database, by the field using the field in media gallery asset grid table. That is also extendable. So this collection, the DI search result, I mean, that is also a collection. There is a configuration that we can add to join tables to that search result, and that way we can add a table, that way we can add information from Adobe Stock that we'll need later during the implementation. And in order to add filter, to add new filter or add new field to display on the grid, we'll need to add a column to the grid table. Then we'll need to adjust the UI component configuration, like add a column here or a filter. And then there is a functionality that updates the media gallery asset grid. Right now, it's also kind of prototype, but it's workable, and it won't change much. I was thinking about using the configurable approach from sales modules, like when those fields can be stored in DI actually, and the reindex can happen using the DI configuration and insert from select. But there are some weak points of that implementation, so I decided to currently do it in the direct way by just creating a plugin on the save interface. Let me show you the plugin. Here is the plugin. So the plugin for Media Gallery API Model Asset Command Save interface, that is basically expected to be executed every time asset is saved, media asset is saved. That is then passing the saved asset to the service that is retrieving all the needed information and calculating all the final information for the grid and adds it to Media Gallery asset grid. So this service has to be updated for new information that we would like to render on the grid, or just for rendering, actually. That's it, basically. Any questions on the second indexer?
Just maybe about the way the URL is stored. You see that it's possible just to change the URL by adding the store code to it. It's a common case for a lot of customers. So they start using the store code URL, or just they add new store. And in this case, how we will update this URL? Maybe we should not store the URL, I mean the base domain.
Yeah, we'll store the relative URL finally, and we'll have a column that's not here. We'll have a column implementation for grid that will add the URL. Yeah, because in this case,
okay.
The domain can also be changed, right? I just finalized it really quickly before the call, so we can have the working functionality. That's
it's great.
That's everything works on the new. It probably logged out, right? On the new implementation with 2 indexers.
Okay, yes, I see. So then we really need this indexer meeting where we can just discuss and maybe create a small milestone for this functionality.
Okay. Any other questions? Suggestions?
Yes, about sorry, about one thing I mentioned in the code. We use the store manager get store and get base URL, and then we send the URL type media or other thing. And I totally right, but maybe this is not a good way to get the store URL. It's better to use the page URL builder, as I remember, or media asset page builder, because in Magento, this was the case for me and 2.2, and maybe they're still in the issue in 2.3. When you use this way to get their URL, you will not get the store code. I will check it.
That's right. That's a prototype. As I said, it doesn't work actually. As you can see, the next line, I am cutting off the pub from the URL.
Yeah, sorry, Sergey. Really,
it's really prototype code in this case. It doesn't work. So it's the store manager get store get base URL media returns. I would say it should return the correct URL for media if you are assassinating admin scope, but some reason from command line, and we are running the indexer right now from command line, it doesn't work. So anyway, we'll have to find another solution.
Okay. I think I will assist you with this because I faced with the similar issue before, and maybe I can really help with this. But again, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think we can add more namespaces to separate the indexers on different levels as well. So, yeah, I'm completely. I know that you probably have lots of suggestions, Alex, and I'm completely open for them. If you have some, just drop me to the Slack. Like if you'll have some later. I heard everything you said on the call, but you can drop me them to the Slack or just add comments in the pull request. We can have discussion in the pull request because I'm going to finalize it today, tomorrow.
Oh, no. I will do next maybe. Just please finalize it as you see it, and this will bring a lot of benefits to the project and to this pull request. So I will not interrupt you. But then when you will merge it, we can have a discussion. I will review it, and if I will have any thoughts about it and some improvements, I create the full list and send it to you. I think this is much better than just start discussion in the middle of the finalization. What do you think?
Okay, I get you. Future improvements also will work.
Yeah, thank you.
Good, thanks. Okay, if there are no other questions related to the indexer, just I wanted to go through that these updates, Shankar, before the new feature, your feature suggestions, just so we all are up to date and ready to percept new feature ideas based on the current state of our functionality on backend. So please go on with your feature suggestion or feature request.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Sergey. So I will start with this feature suggestion from initially we start with what currently it's like a story. First I will lay out my story what is the problem, how can we solve this, and further improvements from you guys. So basically, my feature is if a user just license an image, and if you check the license image, I will just share my screen. So suppose if a user license an image, and you can see that the image is about 9.3 MB, which is quite big. And if you see its property, so if the image size, if you look at it, is 5,400 pixels and around 3,640 height. So I would like to suggest a features that a user able to resize an image or select an image which is provided by the Adobe Stock in different size. So it would be a good feature to add in the Adobe Stock. So user might able to add the size of at his own size and save it in the media gallery.
Thank you. That's a nice suggestion. Actually, we have discussed the same, that resizing when saving licensed images with Elena, and I just currently cannot come to some proper solution, proper interface for resizing of those images. There are lots of tricky things related to this. Like user can resize image based on the. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can provide some suggestions. Like if you can if you check the Adobe Stock Integration API call, so you can see that we will get the different URL size. So we can add the radio button to the file name where we are saving saving the file name. So we can add the radio button to those as a solution one, or we can add another option to like a custom size. If user adds as a custom size, so user will get a pop-up of width and size. And if user selects OK with the name, then it will just save the image with the size he just entered in the pop-up. Is it okay for you guys if we add those in the pop-up?
So, yeah, there are tricky things, like if we will ask user for height and width, we'll need to keep them in ratio, right? Also, user saving the licensed image for one page might want it in one size, and for other page, he might want it in another size, displayed on the page at least. And currently our functionality allows one licensed image per project, right? So you can have one preview image. Then when you save licensed image is supposed to replace the preview image, and we'll have only one licensed image. And
Yes.
yeah, but yeah, if you
What if
could describe your, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just thinking that if we could save both the images, like if user wants like a different size on different page. So if we save both the images, the original image which is maximum size like 5000 by 3000, and another the user just added the custom size, so he can able to resize with the new images from the original image if he wants a different size in the another page.
Yeah, but we need to think about how we'll properly communicate to the user that the image still needs to be big enough to use it in different kinds of content. Like, because at the moment he might save the image for some small banner, and next time he might want to use the same image for the hero banner, like whole the page. In this case, we have to either re-download the image from Adobe Stock or have the original image big enough to cover the page. Right.
Maybe we can do, yeah, but it sounds like a really nice functionality. So you download the image in the original size, and then, for example, if we will need to have different resolutions for this image, you press some magic button near this image, and you will see the pop-up, which Ankar just suggested, and you type your custom dimension. Yes, the resolution that just know, and press save, and you will have the new image added to the media gallery. Resize it with your custom functionality. What do you think about this? Because it doesn't make any sense to download an image several times. So it's better to have a functionality to resize it on by request.
On the WYSIWYG, you mean, or page builder, like directly in the content?
I don't know at this moment how this can be implemented. What's the better idea to how to do this? But this is really sounds like really cool functionality. So if you need, for example, an image for the hero banner, right? Hero widget, you will download this huge image. But if you need the same image to be the background of, I don't know, your CMS page or one of the product image, of course, you will need to make it more lightweight to pass all SEO validation. And in this case, it will be really nice to have something in the Magento admin to change the image size. And this sounds like a good idea for me, because do any size changes on an image download, it's quite dangerous, I think, and also doesn't make any sense, because how you will then download another image size?
You mean duplicating the image, having the original image and then creating a copy for the smaller?
Yes, just take like your Control-C, Control-V. Just you copy paste this image with a different dimension. Shankar's idea is really nice, and it has business value. But I think it should be discussed what the
for
best way
front-end,
to provide it.
I believe that for front-end rendering, a lot of stores should be using the reverse proxy that is resizing, or CDNs that is resizing the image on flight based on the content for which this image was requested. But yeah, for guys that are not using for some reason that kind of tools, or for merchant that's just sensitive about the size of media folder, media directory.
I was going
That
to
can
say,
be.
is there in Magento a functionality that already does that thing? I mean, in the catalog, when you load an image to the catalog, there is a limit for that image, and the image you see in the front end, in the product page, is not the same image you load. There is there are some values that you actually configure to resize that image.
Yeah, the catalog is based on configuration. We have several images, image sizes for catalog, product page, and so on. So Magento knows how to resize them, and all the images are prepared for the catalog. For content or WYSIWYG, currently we don't have the functionality because we don't have the configuration. But yeah, like potentially we can store the configuration, save the configuration when the admin is editing when the admin is saving the page. Check if we can do that, and apply the same approach for catalog. In this case, the image will not be resized for the editing, so it will be full size for the editing. It will be resized for the rendering. But it's kind of this new approach will change the name of the the path of the image, and might affect SEO. But still, Shankar, if you could create an issue and describe your proposition, like describe what how the Adobe Stock can help us resize in the pictures, also include our points, and yeah, we can continue that discussion with Olena. Probably also have a separate meeting to discuss the resizing, because that's really valuable functionality, but really tricky, and there are lots of questions and lots of underwater stones in the implementation of resizing, and we can try to discuss and try to come up with the best solution how we can implement it. And yeah, thanks a lot for bringing this up.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I will create an issue for this task.
Yeah, sure. I will contact. I'm not sure, like if we will be able to discuss it with Elena this year, because there is a shutdown in US for sure, starting from next week for 2 weeks, like winter holidays for the Christmas and New Year, and most of the guys will be back on 3rd of January.
Is that also applicable to Europe, or it's just US?
Well, it's applicable not to everybody in Europe, but applicable to me as well. Yeah, I will have the 2 weeks off starting from the next week, but still I think I will keep an eye on the project, and yeah, with delays, but I guess I will be accessible by Slack as well. Yeah, so if I will be able to organize meetings this week, we'll do this week. If not, maybe they will be moved to the after New Year, like to after 3rd of January, if that's okay with you guys.
completely.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Good. Then, thank you very much. Thanks for valuable comments, very valuable propositions. A lot of interesting stuff is happening right now in the project. So hope you will stay involved. And yeah, and we'll do our best to implement all the best propositions in the best quality. Yeah. So yeah, I will contact you guys in Slack, and we'll also drop the invitations to the meeting to our Slack channel. So stay tuned, and see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.